My name is Felix Omobude. I am, by the grace of God, the current president of the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria. In the wake of the pandemic that has ravaged the whole world, many people are asking, what is the church saying? What is the mind of God for his people? Is there hope for the nations? Where are we heading to? What direction should the church be pointing? Certainly, our world has changed. The economies have changed. The social life of the world has changed. And many instances of churches have been closed for several months. Some are just running skeletally. Those who thought they know, those who thought they are advanced in medicine are baffled at the rattling effect of COVID-19. What is God saying? What is the response of the church at such a time as this? In Esther chapter 4, I will just read verses 13 and 14. When the Jews faced a pandemic, an existential threat that was going to ravage the whole of the Jewish people at that time, without doubt, our world has changed. In such a time as this, where do we face? In Esther chapter 4, verses 13 and 14, Mordecai addressed Esther concerning the existential threat that the Jewish people were facing. Then Mordecai commanded to answer Esther, "Think not with thyself that thou shalt escape in the king's house more than the Jews. For if thou altogether hold the peace at this time, then shall enlargement and deliverance arise to the Jews from another place. But thou and thy father's house shall be destroyed. And who knoweth whither thou art come to the kingdom at such a time as this?" Why has God kept us alive? What is the response of the church to the threat that is come upon the nations? Now, Esther was queen. And of course, her own thinking would be, even if all the Jews were killed, it will not get to her. And there are people like that say, well, they are killing people, they are killing Christians, they are kidnapping others. It has not come to me. And they think they don't, it doesn't affect them. And so they neglect their duty as Christians. So the call by Mordecai to Esther was a wake-up call. So Mordecai said to Esther, don't think you are safer than the rest. Don't think that what happens to your neighbor It's not happening to you. And he said that if you don't do what you ought to do, God cannot be held hostage. He will make a way somehow. For there is no temptation that has overtaken mankind, but such as is common to man. God will, with that temptation, make a way. So Esther woke up. She got the message. Now, Esther's response was a call to fasting and praying. He sent back to Mordecai, tell the Jews all over Shushan the palace to fast. And she said, I myself, although I'm a queen, although I have food in abundance, I have people attending to me, he said, I and my maidens, we will fast also. Prayer is important when the nations of the world face situations they cannot handle. Now, the baffling effect of the pandemic that has come upon us is all over the nations. It has defied scientific efforts, and until now has not been curtailed. It is time for the church to use her own divine influence in assisting her world. So Esther's approach was not only a call to fasting and praying. He said, but you do that, then I will now go to the king outside the normal order. We need to break from the usual. The church must chart the way for the world. And that's why we are here, as the salt and the light. And you know, after Esther's response, in Esther chapter 6, the king could not sleep. There is power in prayer. Things began to change. In Esther chapter 7, verse 10, Haman, the chief enemy of the Jews, of course, was hanged in the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. Things began to change. In Esther chapter 8, verses 16 and 17, the Jews had joy and gladness. What was sorrowful to them, what brought blackness and darkness to them, the situation changed because people stood up. The church must take her place. Such a time as this, where are the children of Issachar who know what the church ought to be doing at such a time as this? Now, we have lined up the voices of many of our leaders in this program. But we are told that God turned it for the Jews from sorrow to joy. 2 Corinthians 2:14 says, thanks be to God, who always causes us to triumph. We will triumph over this. We will come out of this season victoriously. But there is a wake-up call for the church, a call to greater commitment to the Lord who saved us, a call to prayer, a call to our values, a call to evangelism, a call to biblical discipleship, a call to holy living. If we are to maintain our position as light and salt of the earth. Here in our nation, Nigeria, we face economic and political issues. Security is a big issue in our country today. The Boko Haram menace, banditry, herdsmen, armed robbery, kidnapping, internet fraud, and all kinds of things going on. Rape. Our values have been bastardized. The church must rise up with one voice and speak against these evils that have come against us and point to the right direction, because righteousness exalts a nation. At such a time as this, Jesus says that the gates of hell shall not prevail against his church. Let's all rise up and play our part. I believe heaven is depending on us. God bless you.